Hi, my name's Richard. Welcome to part 3. So we've done fuselage and masts. Now we're doing this bit. This is obviously the bit that goes through the water, creates all the lift. But not only does it create lift, it also creates all of our problems as well. Because lift is something we're trying to get away from all the time. We need it to get us going. So on the last video, I talked about the canting of the board and how, you know, the foil needed to be canted over, but if the foil was too long, that you would breach the tips. So let's just talk about foils. So this is a high aspect foil. This isn't. Believe it or not, that is a 490. That's a 500. They're both quick, but which one would I prefer to ride fast? This one. Because I know that as I'm going through the water, I can cant my board over at quite a sharp angle to mitigate the lift and stop these breaching. That's really, really important. So these super great, grandiose, long, thin wings that you can get, unless you're riding the foil like this, super flat like an aeroplane, they're perfect. But if you're not and you're riding it like this, trying to mitigate the upwind effect and go downwind, you need to make sure these tips don't breach. A breach on here, as I mentioned earlier, will ventilate, sucking air down into the foil, and you'll explode. You see loads of people doing this on race courses. You see them going down, canted right over, and all of a sudden, they'll get a little bit of air in here, and boom, they blow up. I think, oh, what happened there? Did he breach? No, he didn't breach. It cavitated or ventilated, drew air into the foil. There's no way to get over that. The nose will drop in right over the front. So that's really where you need to be on these. The smaller this is, in terms of its width, the better, but the balance is you need width and lift and all the other things to get over it. Okay, let me just go to a really super extreme end. So this is a custom foil, and this is a 340. This is a Mike Slab 340, and this is a Mike Slab 410. They look very similar, slightly different shape in the front. Well, what makes these super different isn't the foil at the front, it's the stabilisers. If you look here, you have one stabiliser which is super flat and the other one that's slightly turned up. This one is as quick as this. The reason this is here and not this one is because at 30 knots, this one feels like you're on marbles and it feels all over the place, because it doesn't have the stability that this gives you at that super top speed. Again, 30 knots is where we're trying to get to. So you need 29 knots, really good. Everyone can kind of get there. Everyone's in 29 knots. Everyone's in that 29 knot zone till they get to 30 knots. And it just feels like marbles. With these, the problem with these is they do create drag. So the balance between drag and control is really, really important. So I really love this. I really love this. I really love this. This is super quick. It has slight curve, but not much, limiting the drag on the back. It's not just about the front wing. It's about the rear wing too. I mentioned on the intro, on the very, very first intro video that we did back in January, February time, we're talking about hot water, or warm water, should I say, and cold water. When I mean cold water, anything below 7 degrees, the foils don't work very well. So in fresh water, where it's super cold in the winter, you see these guys trying to get sort of really hot laps in the good winds. They just can't break it. There's so much viscosity in the water because of the temperature that the foils just keep rising, and it's really, really difficult to get fast speeds in super cold water. So the saltwater guys are always going to beat you, and they're slightly warmer. It's at 11 degrees in the winter. We're in the UK, we're about 7 degrees. We get down to about 3 degrees in the sort of inland waterways. Sometimes you're just going to have to find a warmer place or get to the beach or something else like that. So that really, really is important. The water does get slightly viscose, and the problem with the foils is they're super tuned. They won't like the super cold water. So that does make an effect. My church is out in terms of saltwater, freshwater. Maybe at the end of this season, we'll come back and we'll do one going, well, you know, we did it on this and that. So, you know, maybe that'll be the last video that we do. It'll be a roundup of 30 knots and how to get there. And I'd love to hear your views on these things, but really, thank you for tuning in. Thanks very much.